Hello, 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 and welcome to this evening's Grand Prix. You join myself, Lemony Tang, and Just Gaming in the commentary booth this evening. This is the Prospect eRacing League Tier 1 Round 10 from Belgium. Just Gaming, nice to have you here, buddy. How are things? Hope you're keeping well.
Oh, I'm doing very fine, and you already know how excited I am for two reasons. Of course, for Prospect eRacing League Round 10 for Tier 1. Especially at Belgium, very, very difficult track to get down. But the main thing I've been very excited about for today, if you guys can hear this, I finally got my first ever wheel in racing, like for my PlayStation. I got my first ever wheel, and I'm stoked, man. I'm absolute stoked.
Welcome to the club, man. Welcome to the club. I'm telling you, the pain will be hard, but the pace will get there, I promise you. I'm sure a lot of the guys out here have gone through it themselves. They know the feeling, but once you get over that initial hump, man, you will reap the rewards, I'm telling you. Congratulations.
I'm so excited, man, honestly. Because, for the people back at home, I got a G923 from the Logitech, and honestly, this thing feels like an absolute gem. Especially even the pedals. This feels so good. And I remember always saying, "Oh, look at you guys with the wheel. Look at you being all special. I'm over here with motion sensors on my controller." But I'm finally part of the club, and it feels good to be there. But we are waffling around a little bit. We are here for Prospects Tier 1 Round 10, the Belgian Grand Prix here at Spa-Francorchamps, and I gotta say, this track is actually pretty difficult for the newcomers.
It definitely is. This one's one of the classic tracks on the calendar. We love to have it here as always. Spa-Francorchamps, as you say. It is one for the history books. It doesn't matter. Nobody knows what the weather's going to be like in the race, in the qualifying either. But we do have a rain forecast for the race, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully these guys can get a grips to this slick track at the moment, but they know they'll have that anxiety here, Just Gaming, that they will have their hands full in this Grand Prix for sure.
But that's the one thing, though, if they're nervous and fast lap, of course. Here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, it is actually, if I do remember correctly, the longest Grand Prix in the 2021 calendar, where the first ever Grand Prix back here was actually in 1950. So as we did say earlier, a very, very historic track in the Formula One scene, where we're looking around 22 laps around a 7-kilometer long circuit. So we're also looking at a race distance of around 154 kilometers, but let's see who's going to beat that lap record of 146.286 from Valtteri Bottas back in 2018. But LZ Albo in the McLaren, who's I was not very happy with at the Bahrain Grand Prix. However, they'll be setting the standard here tonight for Tier 1. Let's see what sort of times we're going to be looking at here, Lemony.
Yeah, here he comes into the bus stop now, so he's coming to the end of the lap, reprofiled with a couple of corners there, recent enough in Spa's history, but through the last corner now, hard on the throttle to the line, and a 143.540, first position for the moment, but I'm sure there's a few guys out there who'll have something to say about that.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty close to, between these drivers. Of course, Tier 1, the best of the crop for Prospects, but of course, everyone is a talent here at Prospects. And these drivers, we have 18 drivers here tonight, so a pretty good turnout. And we could be looking at some very close times. Last Antoine actually set a 143 of their own, but a 143.7, so only a few tenths slower than a McLaren driver. But we still have a lot of drivers to come across the line, so let's see how these drivers take it.
Look at the total carney here in the Mercedes. Dominant last year, not so much this year with the first Grand Prix of the year. It's fantastic to see Formula 1 back live in real life, but this is the Prospect eRacing League here from Spa this evening, and they're going to be giving it just as good as we see in real life. These guys are proper concentrating out there. They really need to. They need to have their wits about them as Carney goes top with a 143.510. Already hundreds between them here.
Of course, and if it's anything that we saw last week back at Hungary, Lemony, if you remember that, they went down to the thousandths of seconds in some cases, but Alex actually improving by almost a second off of Total Carney, but with a 142.6 flat. So extraordinary time there for the Red Bull driver of Alex, but still plenty of time for qualifying. 12 minutes left actually of qualifying. So with these drivers going out there putting a little bit more rubber down on the track, all I'm gonna say is it's going to go faster and faster and faster as we make our way through qualifying.
Oh, it definitely is. These guys are going to have their hands full here, as you say. Normally you try and get 3 runs in qualifying, especially because it's a short one here, but because it's such a long track, you'd be struggling to get 3 runs in. You might have to sacrifice maybe a lap that you could go faster on, but not as much as you know you could, and get in at the last second to get a brand spanking set of slicks on for maybe the last 2 or 3 minutes out here. This is what the strategy is like. And they need to try and call it as best as they can, otherwise they might get caught out here.
Well, it's if these guys did their practice, we just saw Spider-Man and Basil cross the line recently. Both of those drivers separated by 0.02 of a second. Alzed Albo is actually retired into the pit lane, and I'm actually looking on the field here, actually, Lemony, and we have a crash out of PLR Owen, so one of our very own here at Prospects. And Clement just actually passes by as well, so stuck right around.
Believe it.
Let's see, where was that? That was actually turn 13, so right at the end of Sector 2's. And I gotta say, when it comes to this track, Sector 2 is the most difficult part of this track. Of course, with Sector 1 you have El Rouge, but I say with all those corners in Sector 2, it's very difficult to get right. And yes, Peter? Yeah, you're meowing? What's up? I just fed you. I just fed you.
He loves it, man, just as much as we do. He's all about the action on the grid. Clement into 6th at the moment here in the Aston Martin. Good stuff from Clement. But yeah, these guys are getting their first runs in now. Going to be starting to concentrate on their second ones. Optic is out there on an outlap. Quasar is on an outlap as well. And so is Cartboy. So Cartboy is actually on a lap right now. We'll stay on board with him. He seems to be in the Alfa Romeo here through the left, right, left, down into now. Where is he coming into? Puan. Lovely jubbly, this double left-hander, man. I'm telling you now, you need to be flat out through there as much as possible. Easy to lose some time into the chicane now. There's right, left. Watch that curve on the inside on the left. You might loop your car around, and he's invalidating at the exit. He gave it too much through there, but Quasar and Optic have started their lap now, but unreal here.
Sorry, I was just trying to settle my cats down because they're all running all over the place. They might break my new wheel.
Oh, don't worry about it. We're having a look here. The Quasar, he's just coming through the corner with no name. At the bottom of the hill here, coming out the run towards Puan, this double left-hander. Turn 12. It's so easy to lose it the rear through there. You need the stability and the trust as well. With used tyres, it's going to be difficult. And then, oh no, wait a minute, I think that was just a bit of ping through there. Let the right, left. There's a wheel out there. So Albo is also retired. Maybe that's where he may have. Oh no, wait, that's where Owen.
Owen, yeah. Yep, and we have another spin, and yep, these cats are getting riled up. They need to go outside and have fun outside. Hey.
No worries,
Jesus
there we go.
Christ.
They're kicking off just as much as the guys out here on track, ladies and gentlemen. Quasar coming into the last corner now, the bus stop chicane.
Let's see if he can make this stick.
Sure, here he goes now. What can he do? He's in 15th at the moment and into second. What a fantastic effort of 1:42.9 for Quasar. He'll be delighted with that lap time.
Yeah, but you gotta see this actually now here, Lemony. This is where the drivers are really gonna test out each other out on the track. So we have Quasar and Total Carney in second and third, separated by 200. Same goes with Basil and Spider-Man in fourth and fifth, 200s to them as well. We have Sam Brooks and Clement separated by around 62 thousandths of a second. So close quarter timings here in Tier 1 as we are used to at this point.
That's it, man, I'm telling you. These guys are always flat out here in the Prospects eRacing League. As you say, there's hundreds between them, if not thousands. So pretty much everyone's coming in after their first run or starting their second run now with not much left on the clock here either. Yellow flags galore. Also some guys maybe run out of fuel out there, pushing it to the max. But we'll have a look. Who we have a look at now? Who's on a lap? Anton seems to be on one. Anton's up a second and a bit here, so he's going to be really pushing himself up towards the pole position. Lap time here. What can Anton do? He's through the last corner now, coming up to the line, and he's in the pole position on a 1:42.394. He's moved that bar so more. He's nearly 2/10, just over 2/10, I should say, faster than Alex in this moment in time.
That's an absolute amazing time. But now, Alex has already started exiting out of the pit lane. So let's see how he is going to respond to that. We're still waiting on two drivers to put in their time of Cartboy and PBE Vintage. So let's see how they're going to take this now as well after they've been giving themselves a little bit of an extra challenge.
We'll have a look at Cartboy here. Oh no, we'll have a look at Vintage. Well, he's on an out lap. Who's on a lap at the moment? Big Bambino's on a lap. No, he's invalidated. Not good. Guthrie is on a lap at the moment in the Scuderia. Can he use the luck that they had this weekend, or the strategy, I should say? It wasn't luck. They had the pace. They looked well. And as a Ferrari fan, I am delighted. So Guthrie in 10th position.
Yeah, you're really going to toot your horn now, aren't you, buddy?
I'm not going there. I'm not going there. But, you know, Guthrie has to represent here. He might be on a slowdown lap. He definitely is. So Guthrie on a slowdown.
His red lights. Yeah, he has his red lights. He's probably saving his ERS.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Sam Brook, he's out there at the moment. He's a 10th. He's a 10th. Down on his lap time at the moment, but coming through the corner with no name. This left-hander coming down the hill now towards Puan. You need to really line yourself up for this. You need to feel right in the car, otherwise if you're tense, you're around.
Yeah, and that's when it comes down to these drivers, especially the wheel drivers as well. One thing I've already noticed is that if you're way too tense and you're not a little bit like flowing with the car into these corners, you are really going to struggle here. But I'm looking at one person that's actually on a pretty good lap, improving by 9/10 out of Sector 1. Actually, you'll be excited to hear this, because there's another Ferrari in the name of URL Nick. Let's see how he's going to take this. Goes past the standing wheel of Owen after we saw his crash site, improving by a 2 and 3/10. So this could be a belter of a lap here from Nick. He just really needs to stick this last sector down, and he'll be into the top 5 potentially.
Good stuff here from Nick. What can he do? It's only going to come through Blanchimont now. Through the end of the lap here, 17, 18, and now the chicane. Nicely done. He was actually quicker than I was anticipating through there, but Nick gets across the line now. What can he do? And he's into 6th position, so not a bad lap time at 1:43.0 with 4 minutes left on the clock. Interesting times here.
Yeah, it was a good time from them. Also, another person that actually just crossed the line was actually Cartboy in the Alfa Romeo. Gets 3rd fastest so far at 1:42.630 for Cartboy. Let's see if he's able to keep this going. But one person I am going to be looking at is going to be PBE Vintage. Still yet to put on the time. Is in the final sector in the Haas that I would like to say has blown everyone out of proportion. But actually, we're going to go look back at Alex. So he did enter back on Los Antoine, getting pole position so far at 1:42.163 for him. But PBE Vintage is coming around the final corner. Is he going to... No, that's actually a little bit of a... How would you say that?
A warm-up lap. More of a warm-up lap to get himself established.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I wasn't trying to say anything bad. I just had like a massive brain fart, so I couldn't really know what words to say.
It'd be interesting. We'll stay on board here with Vintage, because a lot of people are out on outlaps at the moment, but he's on one here. So Vintage in the Haas and a 1:48.7. He's definitely feeling the pressure. He's left it for the last bit as he comes down the Camel Straight into the comms, turn 7 into 8 and then 9 here as well. So he might be on another warm-up lap almost. He seems to be
Well, he has improved by a second and a third in 3/10 out of sector 1. But let's see, as he now makes his way down, and this is the one thing about this corner. We actually saw a lot of drivers actually use that like flat green runoff area on the right side to keep that momentum into that corner. But Vintage is going to stay a little bit classic with it. He's going to stay within the track limits and still push his way through. And the one thing about that corner, that chicane, if you have some massive balls, that's all I'm saying, you would actually take the whole curve there on those corners.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, you know, it is one of them kind of situations where if you have got the trust in the car, you can take them liberties with a few of these corners. But if you don't and you unsettle your car, you're just going to loop it around. As Vintage comes into the last corner now, a lot of traffic down into the chicane, it has to be said. But Vintage about to cross the line now. What can he do? He's going to improve. But boy, just how much? Let's see. He's improved by 3 seconds. That's a decent lap time. He'd be proud of that one if I could gain 3 seconds a lap. I'd be happy enough too with that one.
Exactly, but they're still giving themselves a little bit of extra practice here before they finish off qualifying, because qualifying is almost over at this point. And one thing to say, all of the drivers has actually used the softs, except for Big Bambino. Use his time on the set of mediums. So, well, it's still out of the top 10, so it didn't really matter at that point, but still can praise the effort from that man.
Yeah, exactly. But we're riding on board here now with Spidey. He's in 8th position. He seems to be one of the cars out there on a lap at the moment. I believe also Gulfrey might be as well, but we stay on board of Spidey in the Red Bull. Through Puan he goes. And he's trying to improve here. It's the last gasp, the last ditch effort here in qualifying. It's a bit foggy out. The track conditions aren't exactly perfect, but these guys are making do with what they have. It's the same for everybody. Nick is retired, so Spidey is someone he can definitely try and be here. Only a couple of hundreds between himself and Nick. Can he improve even more? He'd be trying to get towards Carney, Basil, Cartboy if possible. Spidey through Blanchimont now in the Red Bull into the last corner of the chicane. Very easy to throw your lap away here. You need to be super concentrated, especially on the exit of the last corner. He seems to be sorted through there, and he's in a third with that one. Fantastic lap time from Spidey. Provisional third, but what can anyone else do? Who has on a lap out there at the moment?
I'm currently looking at Las Antoine. He just finished his out lap, so he's going to go for another one in the dire moment. So let's see how he does. We have Sam Brooks that's coming just out of Eau Rouge right now. But if anyone is coming near the back, I think it's going to be Optic. But he is currently
he's invalidated.
His time there. Yeah.
The Quasar.
Oh, and actually, I didn't realize we had a crash there. We had a crash
Carney's
into Sector 3. Yeah, Carney. And he went in the way of Equazer as well.
Equazer. Gulfrey's on a lap here at the moment. I think he might be one of the only people left out there on a lap, I have to be honest. What can he do? I think maybe Anton is also out there, perhaps. Whoa!
Oh, Anton is improving by 3/10. He could get pole position here. He really needs to get this.
I'm on board, Anton.
Let's see, final sector. Let's see if he can get it. Gilfie has just retired. I don't know if he crashed out or not, but it looks like his car is still moving. But Antoine needs to knock down this final chicane as he makes his way towards the timing line. Is it going to be a new pole sitter, a 141 potentially? And it is a 141.995 for the Haas driver. Shocked everyone in the real life scene and is shocked here tonight. The only one with a 141 on the board, breaking the 142 second barrier. Las Antoine is your pole sitter.
Fair play to Anton with that one. Holy moly, I'm on the edge of my seat. I haven't seen a 141 in donkeys. That might be the first one I've seen. Fair play to him. He broke that barrier by 0.005 of a second, and nobody had an answer to him this evening. Alex gets second position, and Spidey a very good third. But let's not take it away from your pole sitter this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Las Anton 19, fantastic lap time, unreal.
You love to see that here in Tier 1, of course. Just breaking records, breaking I think that's the fastest lap. I have to agree with you. That has to be the fastest lap I've ever seen here in Belgium, and I can only dream of making a time like that. I'm pretty sure my fastest is like a 1:44.2 or something like that. But you got to give it to him. Really stuck it in right when it counted at the dire moments of qualifying. Alex couldn't answer back. Neither could Spider-Man F1. So it was a Haas P1 with 2 Red Bulls and then an Alpha Tauri rounding up the front 2 rows.
I'm telling you now, Anton is using the K-Mag magic. I'm telling you, the Steiner ship is getting bigger and better as the days goes on, including in the Prospect eRacing League. So that is Anton, your pole sitter, your pole winner for the Grand Prix later on this evening, with Alex in second, Spider-Man there in third, Equazer in fourth, Cart Boyle in fifth, Basil there in sixth, Total Carney in seventh, Sam Brooks eighth, Nick in ninth, Optic an unimpressive 10th, Just Coconuts in 11th, Clement Pheasant in 12th, Guthrie in 13th, Albo in 14th, Big Bambino 15th, Pigman Man in 16th, Vintage in 17th, and Owen rounds out your grid this evening.
Well, let's see. All eyes are going to be on Lance Antoine for this race start. If he's going to be able to set that sort of time in qualifying, especially with all of that pressure on you for the dire moments of qualifying as well, we can only wait to see how they're going to do in the race. But it's not about one lap pace, of course. It is about consistency, and it's still cloudy, still dry conditions though, Lemony, but this is actually going to aid. This is actually going to help the drivers out there. Mainly because it's going to be cooler temperatures, so the track is going to be cooler, and they can actually make those longer stints actually pull through. So this could actually be a very, very good race here when it comes to the pit strategy.
Hello to everyone out there on the tube of the Ube. How are you getting on? How's you cutting, everyone? Nice to see you commenting. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and give this video the big thumbs up. But yeah.
But not only just of that, don't forget to share the video, of course, with your friends and family to see if they've actually been interested in some of this. And you never know, we might have some new drivers making their new faces in the upcoming seasons. You never know, anything can happen.
That's it, man, that's it. Just do get involved, get in contact, you know what I mean? There's always room for one more, as they say here. We're all about fun and the banter. We promote good racing, clean racing, and a very friendly community. Do get involved.
Oh yeah, I cannot. The thing is, I have to agree with you there, mainly because I've actually haven't been in prospects for that long actually. The way I got in was actually because of Patty Pat. Someone needed. Oh, hold on.
Oh, you can
hold
see
on
it.
a second.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Am I seeing some raindrops?
I've seen some raindrops too. Oh my word, they're all on slick tires.
Dude.
Who's gone for Inters? Anyone gone for Inters? I don't know.
No, everyone went for slicks.
Everyone's
Two
on
medium
slicks.
runners of Albo and Owen. Everyone else on the set of softs.
And you can't come in, can't you not, in this game to...
No.
No.
Of course, in the real life scene, you would be allowed to go into the pit lane, and when the race starts, you would have to give it a few seconds and wait for the green lights at the pit exit to make your way through to start your race. But, of course, in this,
it's really
you don't really have that
down.
type of leisure.
It's bucking down in the last sector here. So these guys, I tell you now, they thought they were going to get away with it, and I'm afraid I've got some bad news. It's raining.
Well, let's see. It is raining, and it's starting to get a little bit heavy, but is it going to be enough to where they have to pit ASAP?
Yeah, definitely, especially in that back end there. That's going to be puddle central now anytime now. You can even see them starting to form. It's on the camera, and you can even see them puddles. Look at this guy! It's into the wall. These guys are already struggling here. Unbelievable. This is going to be an absolute entertaining Grand Prix.
Well, let's see. I hope Antoine is okay. It doesn't look like he got any damage on that Haas car, but you're already starting to see the puddles start to form. And it is unfortunate for the drivers. They have to stick with the tires that they started on and the ones that they chosen. let's see who's going to be the one to spin out around first. Because with turn 1, and specifically Al Rouge, it's going to be very, very difficult for these drivers out on track.
Excuse me, it's going to be amazing. This has to be one of the best intros to the race I've ever seen here for the Prospects eRacing League. This is Tier 1, it is round 10, it is Spa, Belgium. Anton is your pole sitter. Alex joins him on the front row, and the rain is falling and the lights are about to go out here.
There we go, 4, 5 red lights, and we are underway for a wet start with dry, slick tires, and Antoine with an amazing start. Oh, and a Kaiser, look at him push his way up to second already into turn 1.
Good stuff there, Total Carney. There's an Aston Martin careering across the track in front of the field. Unbelievable stuff. But as they go side by side through Eau Rouge here, how do they settle themselves out? Not too bad through there, but there's a virtual safety car. How do they settle it out at the top of the hill there? Everyone keeps their front nose clean. But one of the Aston Martins got loose on the outside in that wet, and the safety car's being deployed and careered in front of the poor old Guthrie. It looks like got pure creamed out of it. Unfortunate for himself, but unreal. Just game and serious start there. Hard luck to the guys.
It's very unfortunate for Gilfie. Had a good position to start off the race, but got caught off guard with the weather conditions. And it looks like both of the Aston Martins actually got themselves a little bit of damage, both of them without a front wing. So it's going to be a double second to the pit lane. But now this is where it gets to controversial moments here, Lemony. The rain is coming down, however, it's starting to ease off a little bit.
I don't know, I'm somebody who errs on the side of caution here. I come in for Inters, man, because at the end of the day, you got 22 laps to go in this race. The last thing you want to do is career it into the wall. I do think it's going to stay like this for a while, and it's going to get heavier. So, better in now than later.
Well, let's see who's going to be the one to be ballsy and stay out. Not too sure if anyone is going to be, because that would have been a huge, huge gamble to take. And oh, and actually, yeah, you're already looking at it. You already see right on this straight the amount of puddles. Yeah, everyone's going to come into the pit lane. It's going to be a very, very busy pit box here tonight.
This is it. Does anyone take the risk? That's the question, because there's going to be a few people caught up here. And then also as well, let's not forget, if you're caught up going in, you can't even get into your pit box if someone's blocking it in their own right.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure how these drivers are going to take it. It looks like everyone is making their way into the pit lane now. Is Lance Antoine going to still be in the lead? Yes, he will. Has anyone actually pulled the switchback with those pit stops? I'm not too sure, because of course when you go into the pit lane, you have to wait for it to be clear before you can merge back onto that pit wall. And of course, with the double stacking, it's really going to hurt some positions out there.
Definitely. But well, let's have a look at the grid positions here at the moment. So Nick is up 3 positions in the Ferrari. Fantastic stuff from 9th into 6th. But Spidey has dropped 5. He had a dismal start, it seems. He might have got muscled wide, let's say. Clement Pheasant, as you say, is down 5. He's suffered with some front wing damage. And then Pigman, man, still in 16th, but as you say as well, still some damage for that Aston Martin. Not a good start, but it's a long race. They do have time to make it up.
Exactly, there's still plenty of time in this race, and the only question is, though, we had the qualifying. We've seen those extraordinary laps there from Alex, from Antoine. You had Spider-Man up there as well with E. Kaiser. The only question is, did they anticipate a wet race, and did they did they remember to put on a wet setup? Because if they're out there on a dry setup, they're going to be having some understeer. They're going to be having some throttle control problems. There's going to be a huge mishap if they forgot to put on those wet setups.
That's a fantastic point that you make there, Just Game, because at the same time, as you say, like, you know, the wet setup, the car is a little bit higher up from the ride height. There's more wing in the car. It's a little bit softer, let's say. And it's just a little bit more forgiving. Not good in the dry, but as you say, in the wet, it does give you a substantial few tenths for sure a lap. and it's just a more comfortable ride. You're not on the edge all the time, which is so important as a driver.
Exactly, but these drivers will be hoping to end this race very soon, as they're probably going to be looking at getting some nice warm towels at the end of this race. However, we're still looking at another lap of safety car, if I'm looking at this correctly. Yeah, we're looking at another lap of safety car here, so looks like there was a lot of debris into turn 1 with Pinkman, Clement, and Gilfie, so the marshals have to work double time to get this race back underway ASAP.
That's a pity that it could have came in, but as you say, maybe a little bit too early for the game. So another lap here under the safety car. The Spa-Francorchamps circuit is a historic one, as we said before. Famous for the Hakkinen on the inside of Schumacher, down the Kemmel straight there, one of the years. Hulkenberg careering into the back of Alonso and putting him over the top of Charles Leclerc. Yeah.
Hold on. You talking about Nico?
Yeah, it was
You talking about Nico?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. You got to say his name right. Come on now.
The Hulkenberg.
Nico Hulkenberg. Gotta love that meme, man. You gotta love it.
Man. Here, he had a great qualifying. In fairness to him, he qualified Stroll. So there you go, Aston Martin.
Yeah, so it just makes you question that some of these, like, let's say third wheel driver, in a way, like third set driver, can actually be better than the starting two. And we saw that with Kevin Rasmussen, as who was he? He was the third driver for, I forget which third driver he was, but of course he was with the Haas a few years ago. So it's good to see him back in there. But who would you say would be the biggest shock this season, in your opinion?
For pace-wise?
Yeah.
Definitely K-Mag. Alright, I'm not going to use him as the example because he's been out of Formula 1 for a year and a half, you know what I mean? So there you go,
yeah.
5th position, fantastic result. But you know what, I was pleasantly surprised with Zhou Guanyu. He done really well with the Alfa Romeo, got points on his debut, which is amazing. You know, devastated for Mick. He was so close, but he'll get there. He had a good race battling people. He's really starting to learn. Same with Zhou Guanyu. Safety cars in this lap one would assume, so the guys are starting to pack it up here, really. But yeah, that's who I was impressed with, to be honest.
If I would say who I was impressed with, I would have to say Yuki Tsunoda. Mainly because if you look at his last season performance, he didn't really make a name for himself until the end of the season, where he made that dive bomb on Valtteri Bottas at Abu Dhabi, if you remember that.
Yeah, true.
And now he's just given himself that extra bit of confidence, and he's gotten into the points as well. So good for him. Unfortunate for his teammate, Pierre Gasly, had that fire at near the end of the race, and it just shows that there's still a lot of work to do for these constructors on their new cars.
It is. They definitely have more time to gain out of it than any updates at the moment, just by understanding. But the safety car is in this lap. Anton is, after taking control of the grid, he's really slow through here. He seems to be going now. Yes, he's pulled the trigger. He's gone. So he's pulled it there. Quasar caught napping a little bit. Alex there as well in third. Who else is going to make a move? Perhaps they're going to be trying to get an advantage through here, but trying to keep it on the track. Alex, he runs wide. So Cartboy is definitely running around the outside for Cartboy. Don't pass before the start line. No, he did. So I don't know about that one. Spidey gets a 10-second time penalty. He must have locked up through there and had to take evasive actions.
Yep. Oh, and I'm looking at Nick though, side to side with Carney into turn one. Nick on the inside, and it looks like he's able to get past the Mercedes of Toto Carney. Carney now down to 6. We have an overtake near the back with Owen as well, who previously got crashed out during qualifying, but has learned his lesson. Basil has just made the overtake. Cartboy and Nick, looks like they're going side to side as a drag race between those two drivers as they make their way down towards the chicane at the end of the DRS straight. Oh, a huge lockup there from Cartboy. Cartboy with a little bit of a lockup into that corner and just couldn't mess up his line. Has messed up Nick.
What is that kind of a rejoin? It's a good thing that was ghosted, otherwise Nick would have wiped out half the field there. Unbelievable stuff. I nearly had a heart attack myself. God love the drivers.
Yeah, because I actually didn't even see him ghosted there, so right as I saw him go on the throttle, it did give me a little bit of a shock, but it looks like it came in just in time, and he's going to rejoin back down to 13th. Unfortunate with the contact between Carboy, but that lockup really messed up his line there, and hopefully he can improve on that. But right now, a good lead for Los Antoine, up by 1.3 seconds on EKs. EKs are actually ahead of Alex by almost 2 seconds at this point.
Good stuff by Quasar. It seems to be kind of sorted themselves out at the front of the field here, but Optic is right on the back of Sam Brooks here. The battle for 8th and 9th is definitely intensifying as they come up to Blanchimont now. It is fast, flat out left-hander. Nobody wants to make a move around the outside just quite yet. But Optic trying to get a good slipstream into the chicane. Does he pop out under braking? He does, but Sam Brooks also is good under the brakes. And it looks as if Coconuts is launching it up. Optic's inside. Just about gets away with it. I'm telling you, very opportunistic move on Optic there. Too wily. Optic feeds him back to the outside into the braking zone. He won't have that too easy. No, he does not.
Yeah, a little bit of contact between Optic and Coconuts on the exit there. But he had to keep that corner firm to not let just Coconuts make them both go side to side up El Rouge, because that is a recipe for disaster if you try to go side to side up that hill. Oh, what a huge crash!
A massive accident. Unbelievable. Coconuts into the wall.
And yep, I wouldn't be surprised. Yep, there it is. There's the safety car. I actually saw what happened there just last second. So it looked like, who was he battling out with? It was, who was he battling out with?
He was battling with Optic.
It was Optic, right?
Yeah, and he was getting a run on the outside.
Yeah, and Optic thought he had the full clear run there to shut the door, but the front wing was just right by his rear left tire, and he didn't anticipate that, so he kept on turning left. And of course, it pushed both of them into the wall. Optic only with a broken end plate, but Coconuts is now out of this race.
I know Sam Brooks was there battling hard at them as well. There was literally 3 cars in the space for 2.5, so they were giving it good beans, but at the same time, it's lap 5 out of 22. Give each other some room. Optic may be unnecessarily running them out wide on the exit, but as well as that, the guys just going so hard so early through Eau Rouge in the wet. It's as you said, as they were going into the corner, it's a recipe for disaster, and it happened.
Yeah, and that's just going to go down to the stewards. I'm not too sure if it will be a racing incident or if someone will be penalized. But let's just say that they're going to be very busy at the stewarding box.
They will be as well.
But that's the one thing about... Oh, actually, Los Antoine's going into the pit lane. Is he going to go with a set of wets? Kaiser is going to stay out. Everyone else is going to stay out. Oh, except for Carboy. Carboy's coming in.
Interesting. Yeah. Split strategies between some of the guys at the top here. Spidey's in too. Sam Brooks is in. Albo. Everyone else now should pit. Yeah, there you go. So, different strategies. Done. It's full wets, as you called it, Just Gaming. You called that strategy perfect.
The only thing is, I think it might be too early to make that sort of call. Maybe because you do see a little bit of puddles, but I think it would come to a point to where if you don't see the racing line whatsoever, and you see like a bunch of puddles start to form on the track, that is when the wets come out. But right now, I'm not seeing that many like large puddles out there.
Might be anticipating though what it's going to be like in 2 laps time when the safety car comes in. He might have pulled a blinder here.
Well, let's see if he has.
We will indeed. So Anton gives up the lead but gets a fresh set of wet tyres here, so he's anticipating the track conditions to get even worse. But Quasar is your leader in first position, with Alex in second, Basil in third, and then Total Carney in fourth. These drivers have selected not to pit under this safety car to keep their intermediates on. But then we have the recent leader Anton in fifth, and then Cartboy in sixth on the brand new wets, and then Clement on 3-lap old Inter, so he didn't quite get Anton and Cartboy before they rejoined out of the pits. And then Spidey decided on a brand new set of intermediates instead of wets, and the rest of the field deciding on new wets.
Well, it's going to be pretty it just makes you think, is it going to be the right call to go on those set of wets? Was it the right call?
There's definitely
Or was it the right call to stay? Oh, actually, yeah, there are a lot of puddles. But the only thing is, with those amount of puddles, you do still see the racing line. And when we go through, that racing line is going to be more prominent. So if you can stick to the racing line, the intermediates is going to be their best bet. However, if you are a little bit sliding, of course, with it being these wet conditions, the wets are the way to go. And without actually realizing, Antoine and everyone else on the set of wets is actually going to help the intermediate drivers out there to make that what's called racing line a little bit more prominent.
Thing is though, with them intermediate tires, they're still gonna need to come in for a pits, I'd say, somewhere along this race. Where Anton and Co might be able to stretch this out if it goes green, but I don't think this might go green for the rest of the race. This is Spa. These are treacherous conditions, and they are interchangeable conditions. Intermediates to wets. A few people coming in now for wets themselves.
Yeah, but Ikaser still decides to stay out. So he's really going for a bold move here. He's wanting to get the win, and leading the safety car restart is probably going to be his best bet, because last Antoine, pole sitter, race leader until he had to make that pit stop. It's probably going to be his best bet to just defend as best as he can into these corners with those set of intermediates. That's probably going to be his best bet at this point.
I think one of the telltale signs is that Spidey has come in and changed his brand new winters to brand new wets. And that to me is all that I need to know to see what the story is. With the track conditions, with the cars, how they're handling, Inters is the wrong way to go. Quasar is going to be struggling at the restart. But yeah.
Well, with that, it's kind of like if you you play Among Us and someone says, oh, this guy vented, and then you just go, that's enough for me. So that's what we just saw with the new set of Inters into the new set of wets. So Ikaser could be a sitting duck at this point. He will be a floating duck with these puddles starting to form. So that's he might be thinking to himself, spicy meatball. But you know what? You know what's actually funny though? So I actually have, and like, you know how when you're trying to announce something, you have like a little bit of a drum roll. Mm-hmm. So on like just a fun fact, on Saturday, I had to do this commentary for Gran Turismo, and it was the end of the season, so I had to announce who was the winner. This would just make you guys laugh. So instead of going onto YouTube and getting a drum roll like audio file,
yeah,
I went into my storage, and being from an island person that I am, I have myself a little bit of a bongo. So I did a little bit of a drum roll at this point, and you know what? With it being the safety car restart, I am anticipating EKs are spinning around, so I'm just gonna.
There we go, Quasar. You want to keep it on the island until you get to the line at least, otherwise you could cause real havoc for the guys behind.
Well, this is going to be very, very interesting for this restart. Last Antoine's not even going close to EKaser, so because he probably already knows that EKaser is just going to spin, and he's going to give himself enough space to maneuver around that AlphaTauri.
He's anticipating for sure. When's he gonna go though? When's he gonna pull the trigger? We'll see now. He still hasn't gone yet though. Let's go, boys. The Quasar, he's gone now. Here he goes into the chicane. He goes. He's understeering nearly. Oh, he's going straight into the pits.
And he's going into the pit.
Fair play to him.
Yeah, and then last Antoine retakes the lead. He has really messed up that strategy there. And EKaser is now going to be down to 16th after these drivers come across the finish line.
Cartboil straight down the inside at the turn one. Fantastic move for the lead of the race. He wasn't taking any second chances. He was straight down there. Great restart.
He's now getting himself a little bit of a gap as well. So it looks like Cartboy has really done his homework in these wet conditions, especially up El Rouge. But one person, Big Bambino, is looking at looking at Sam Brooks, he's really closing in, but Sam Brooks is going to be using that ERS to get himself a little bit further away. Pigman Man and Owen are going to have themselves a little bit of a drag race as well. And same goes with Alex and Optic as it's a 2x2 grid into the end of the Camel Straight. But it looks like Optic was the one to come out on top of that battle. Let's see if he's going to be able to keep... No, Owen, sorry, not Optic. Owen, wrong blue car.
Optic rolls right down the outside. Basil gets two cars in one corner. Great stuff from
Toto
himself.
Carney as well. Toto Carney getting past Alex, so it looks like Alex just not getting ready for that braking zone. And that braking zone of turns 7 and 8, very, very difficult to get down, even in the dry conditions. But we're now having Albo and Nick. Oh, Nick has lost his whole front wing. Nick has major front wing damage for the Ferrari as he is waiting to rejoin the track behind Spider-Man. Well, now right ahead of Vintage. Vintage had to take the evasive maneuvers to get around, but unfortunate for Nick, unfortunate for the Ferraris. The curse of the Ferraris continue here in Prospects. But one battle that could be brewing up a little bit is going to be Carboy and Antoine. Antoine's still trying to close the gap between him and Carboy.
Oh,
looks like Carboy just has the better
Optic had a massive accident. Oh my word, it just seen a car in the air. I don't know what happened. What happened to Optic? He's after having a massive accident through Blanchon. A huge one.
Yep. Oh, and he actually broke his rear tire out there, and that's difficult to do in this game.
Honest to God, look at the stream real quick. You'll just see a car like literally up in the air, standing up straight. I was like, uh-oh. You know, I was looking back from one of the cars through Blanchard, and I was like, oh my God.
Well, anyway. He looks like he turned into a bottle rocket at that point. But looks like he's going to be okay, taking a little bit of a let's say he's going to take a little bit of a rain therapy at the end of this race, as he's going to be trying to dry up as soon as possible. But look at Bambino trying to get the switchback now on Sam Brooks, and he's done it into turn 7 as well. He's going to go past out of that McLaren sandwich and go up to 3rd place. So a good overtake there from Big Bambino.
Good man himself, fair play to him. Anton is right in the back of Carboy as well. Just looking at the intervals, so it's starting to kick off. Guys are starting to make moves. It's 9 laps out of 22. We're coming up to half distance. In a few laps time, they know they need to make their moves. Otherwise, they'll get stuck at the back, and that's not where you want to be.
It is not where you want to be, but it might be a place that you would have to correctly settle for, as it is difficult to have these cars out on the track and not have that many spins already. Spot taking out 3 drivers. Gilfie right at the beginning of the race into turn 1. Then we had Just Coconuts. Where did Just Coconuts actually crash out? Because that was the second safety car.
Optic, yeah, at the top of the hill there onto the Camel Straight.
Right, right.
Optic, yeah, touched. Whoa, here we have a look at Pigman and Owen though. They're going side by side into the braking zone of the chicane. It's Basil and Pigman. Basil goes around the outside in the Alpine. What a fantastic maneuver, and he closes the exit off. Pigman has nowhere to go except onto the runoff area, and that is a slam dunk textbook maneuver from Basil around the outside.
Amazing stuff for the Alpine driver. Oh, a little bit of a slippery exit there. Tokyo drifting in these Formula 1 cars. But you might just have to take those sort of karting lines around these corners just to keep it on the track and keep that sort of pace as well. So really with the Formula 1 drivers going back to their karting days at this point.
I'm going to wait. Yeah, they're all through Eau Rouge now. So they've all been doing really well through Eau Rouge in these conditions. I have to say, no one's really thrown it at the hedge there. They've done it in other places on this track, but Eau Rouge, that notoriously tricky corner.
Oh, and we have a new leader of Las Antoine. Carboy just mistimed the braking zone into turn 7, I believe it's turn 7 or turn 8. Forget which one, but that downhill right-hander, very difficult to get right. And Antoine was the one to catch Carboy out on that mistake and is now leading by around 6/10. So the gap is increasing turn to turn.
That is an absolute disaster from Carboy. He needs to get his momentum back, his composure in that helmet. He knows Anton's in the lead now, but he's still within reaching distance. Although Anton is going to try and pull the trigger here, he definitely is pulling tenths upon tenths as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. Cartboy may have just thrown this race away, but Anton definitely trying to pull the legs at the moment.
Well, let's see if he's going to close that gap. Owen and Basil are now going to have themselves a little bit of a battle as they make their way down. Basil goes up to 6th place now. So Basil looks like he's really having a lot of pace out there tonight.
Owen struggling through Blanchimont. Now Pigman's up the inside here of the Williams driver, but Owen holds firm around the outside, which becomes the inside for the second part of the chicane. And as they come onto the front straight now, they cross the line down into La Source, the hairpin. They seem to have sorted themselves out for another lap, or corner at least.
Well, it looks like two people that are having themselves a little bit of a battle. Teammates of the McLaren, Sam Brooks and LZ Albo, going side to side into turn 1. And you can see Albo wants to get past. You can see that he is desperate to get past his teammate. He believes Sam Brooks is holding him up. But at this point, Sam Brooks is still going to stay ahead of the two. Pigman Man is actually closing down on Owen. Is he going to look on the inside? He is. He's looking on the inside now. He's going into turn 5. And he's going to have to settle right behind. But a good effort there from Pigman Man. But couldn't get it done. Albo now getting 3 seconds as he dives into turn 8. And he's still struggling to get past his teammate.
Unbelievable. I think they swapped for a second. I seen the arrows come up. What kind of a line is Albo using down here? Interesting one with that one. But he's gaining through the left-hander here of Pilwan. Yeah, what can he do against Sam Brooks? These guys are really pushing each other hard. And even though it's wet, you can see the rear being loose with these guys. They're really on the limits here.
They are. They're really testing the waters. No pun intended. But yeah, but that's it really. They're still testing it out. They're trying to see like what sort of mentality the drivers around them will have if they try to make that battle. But we've been seeing it from start to finish. They're having that mentality to where they are not going to give up and they're going to keep on pushing for as many points as they can.
Quasar having a bit of a dismal one. I think he may have just had to rejoin there. Vintage going past them as well. The Quasar might be coming into retire. He does seem to be going quite slow at the moment. Unfortunately for himself, Sam Brooks and Les Albo side by side now into the first corner. La Source, what's it going to be? Who's going to give up? Albo down the inside. He runs deep as well. Sam kind of gets chopped off there. Chock block for the old switcheroo, but he gets a good exit now. What can he do through Eau Rouge and Radion? Can he get Albo down the Camel straight into the chicane? Let's see and find out. Good run through the top of the hill there, but Albo equally just as good. So slipstream battle down the Camel straight now as he pulls out of the slipstream to the outside now. Down into the Combe chicane. We'll have a bit of contact here. You can see the arms going out here. And there's Connie's around. They did not want to give each other space. And that is what happened after happening. It's a picture perfect crash from Nick earlier on today. And it's kicking off here between Carney and Pigman Man now. Unreal here, just gaming.
Yeah, but that's the one thing though, that's really going to hold them up, because with them being teammates, they would rather just be side to side, like just be forward and back. They do not want to be side to side, because you can have incidents like that where you ruin your chances of getting even more points for your team. And LZ Albo just really got greedy there.
You know, you could kind of see it happening. They had contact going into the braking zone, turn in for the first part of the Combe chicane. And then where they had the ultimate despair was in the left-hander bit, you know, the second bit of that kind of set of corners. And the contact at the very start really didn't set them up nicely into the next bit. They were both giving each other the elbow, no room. And it was inevitable, really. You could see it before it happened. And unfortunately, Sam gets the short end of the stick on this occasion.
Yeah, but I do gotta say, we're looking at around a 6-driver battle for 6th place. And of course, Sam Brooks just recently joining that battle after losing out to his teammate of LZ Albo. But look at this here. This is a nice train here. Really shows that these drivers really like to put on a show no matter what track, what day, what conditions they're in.
Pigman, man.
Oh, and there goes Sam
Sam's
Brooks.
around.
So it looks like he's not really enjoying himself out there. Clement Pheasant could be looking at getting the overtake right before El Rouge. He is closing the gap, 2/10, 1/10 on the inside, and Sam Brooks has to ease out of it. Very, 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 very risky to go side to side there.
Yeah. Very risky.
We also just saw a change in the leader of that battle for 6 of Total Carney now, getting the overtake on Owen right at the end of the Camel Straight. I believe that's the Camel Straight. If I'm wrong,
yeah,
please let me know.
No, that's the Camel Straight indeed.
Okay, I have done my homework correctly then. Good.
Yeah. Although the corner they've just gone through there, that left-hander is the corner with no name. Apparently they did give it a name at one stage, but the corner with no name for most people.
The unknown corner.
Yeah, it's a mad one.
I think with it being like a very difficult corner to get right, you already know what sort of names these drivers would probably give it.
Downhill, off camber. It's just one of them corners that isn't good. Like, you know, you have Les Source, Eau Rouge, the Camel Straight, Le Comps, these are famous. Pouan as well. There you got Blanchimont also, you know, Stavelot. These are really fun corners on a fun track. And then you got the corner with no name. That is just a bit of an awkward one, to be quite honest.
One of these things just doesn't belong here.
Yeah, and you can easily find yourself on the outside into the wall 100%. You know, invalidate your lap or lose a wheel.
Yeah, actually, we saw that a few times earlier, especially with Optic, as he had a little bit of an airborne moment into the final sector. Oh, and a big push from Alex on Pigman Man, and now Spider-Man getting past, and now he's going to move up to 8th. So Pigman Man could be looking at reporting that to the stewards, because that was a huge push, and he was right behind Owen as well, so that might have actually ruined his chances of going up to 7th.
What a save, though. You can see the loss of traction, as you say, the little bit of a nudge from the car behind, and wow, Tokyo drift through that hairpin for sure for Pigman Man. Fantastic car control, great driving to collect it up and save it from a spin or worse, a crash.
Yep, but now Optic is going to be overtaken by Spider-Man, not Superman, Spider-Man, and then Pigman Man is going to try and catch Owen out. A little bit of contact between the two drivers as well, so Owen is just falling down the pecking order at this point. He's really losing a lot of pace there on those set of wets, but he's going to still stay out there in that 8th place and trying to hold up against Pigman Man. Alex is now right on the tail end, and we already saw what happened recently with that sort of situation between those two drivers.
I tell you, there might be a bit of red mist. There's definitely some red mist out there for a few guys, and it's coming to the end of this race though. There's only about 7-8 laps left on the clock here, so it's coming to crunch time. You really want to be making that move. You can't really gain much more than a few seconds here, but the guys are showing some fantastic drivability, maneuverability out there, and some great skill here for Tier 1 Prospects eRacing League. They're really putting on a great show here this evening.
Yeah, always love to put on a good show. They've always done it from the start of the season till now, and until the end of the season as well. Oh, and a little bit of a...
no, Owen's out there spinning.
Yeah, a little bit too much power for him, and he's going to have to do that whole lap
safety car
without a front wing. Oh, wow, a safety car? Did someone else crash? Oh, Vintage! I think Vintage had a little bit of incident going into the pit lane.
Okay, fair enough. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Safety car, brand new set of wets for these guys, and a shootout for the win, I suppose, in the wet.
I guess so. Who's going to be the one to go crazy with the set of intermediates, potentially? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult.
No, I wouldn't go inters at all. I think the conditions out there are worse than when they put these wets on in the first place.
Yeah, sorry I just cut off randomly. My controller just fell to the floor. But,
nice.
yeah, so it's basically when I was...
Oh, fell to the floor again. Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? Tell you, life ain't easy for the guys in the Coventry Boot, let alone the guys in the racing seat this evening, but rather them than me out there, to be quite honest with you. I like, it's good to call it, not to be in it.
Yeah, but I'm just joking around. I'm just pulling out the cord and putting it back in. But yeah, it's been a pretty good race, and this is actually going to help the drivers near the back of Nick, eKaiser, and Vintage now after going into the pit lane. Gonna give themselves another chance to catch up with the pack. Let's see if they're going to be able to optimize that new advantage and that second chance practically, or actually second chance, or should we say like about maybe fourth chance at this point?
Telling you, man, they have a look at the green, look at the Irish, or something about them with that one, because like, alright then, it was a front wing damage for Owen, as you say, and maybe something for Vintage, but nobody crashed out of the race, you know what I mean? Like, in a safety car was called for that one. So lucky for some, unlucky for others. I'm sure the likes of Anton would have liked to seen a keeper lit, and Cartboy would have been happy with that one. But Big Bambino's the only guy who comes into the pit lane. That is a very interesting strategy. What is the rest of the guys going to do? You'd be silly not to pit here from 5th downwards, because you're not really going to gain much of an advantage. But Albo, Basil, Cartboyle and Anton could be caught rapid here.
Well, let's see if they're going to be the one to prevail at the end of this race. But so far, we have so who stayed out actually? We had a few people stay out. We had the top 7 actually stay out now with the set of tires. Oh, Spider-Man Alex and Toto Carney are going to go out on the set of intermediates.
Well, you called it, just gaming. You called it, man, that some people might want to go for that strategy. I particularly didn't think that, well, in fairness though, I always err at the side of caution, especially in these games. Because the last thing I want is to put all that time and everything to crash myself into the wall. Let alone, you know what I mean?
So hold on. So Vintage actually just said, yeah, he didn't trigger the safety car. So yeah, so it might have just been the contact with Owen, which is a bit odd because we saw Optic go airborne practically with his incident, but then someone spins around and crashes into the wall. Oh, safety car. You don't understand these FIA people, especially in this game where in the time it was Michael Massey, and
well, I can definitely.
I guess Michael is still in this game. I guess Michael is still in this game then.
They haven't removed him from this one. No, Michael did a good job. In fairness to him, you know, it was a rock and a hard place. What he meant to do.
Like the thing is, it's kind of like the same situation with a lot of drivers, with a lot of people, where it's kind of like a mixed bag because. Like, Max Verstappen actually said it correctly when he was interviewed at Bahrain during preseason testing. And he said, one of the interviewers said something about his opinion on Michael Massey and the situation that happened with him. And I think Max Verstappen said it right. Just to say it in easier terms, he said that Michael Massey was put in a tough position because he was down to make the decision about who would win in the race, one, and also being in the in that sort of scenario where you're having constructors and everyone shout down your ear hole to make a decision, and it's just it does get to you at some point. It does get to you, and Michael, of course, Michael not right. It's the main thing that everyone's looking at, but you gotta like pull back the curtain a little bit and see what's actually going on in the backgrounds before you actually make yourself a like a statement as well. Of course, some people saying about Michael Massey did a bad job, but if you look at his situation, if you were put in that situation, would you do the same thing? Like, would you react the same way?
Do you know what though? Right, as well. There was a consensus also between all the teams not to finish under safety car. You know what I mean? Like, so there was a lot of things that all came together for that decision to be made, and I don't necessarily think he made the wrong decision, but I think a better one could have been made. You know, and I think Lewis was robbed. You know, as much it kind of pains me to admit it. I do think Lewis was robbed and Max got the lucky championship, but also, sure, you know what I mean, we've seen Schumacher drive into the side of the hill, tried to do it with Villeneuve, you know. Championships do things to people. It's weird. Championships do things to people. You know, be it the stewards, be it the team owners, the principals, the drivers. the mechanics. Have you ever seen NASCAR? Them boys have UFC on nearly every weekend. In the
Oh yeah,
paddock.
I know. I used to watch
Fantastic.
a lot of NASCAR. I used to watch a lot of NASCAR, and one driver in NASCAR that you'll probably say as a iconic hothead in NASCAR would have to be Tony Stewart, and his
Tony.
pit crew were even worse. Like, they were even worse. I remember, I forget which year it was, but it was like when Jeff Gordon was still racing, and them two had a collision, and they were fighting for the championship as well. And they had a collision near the end of the race, and they couldn't finish. And Jeff Gordon really defended himself pretty well, but Tony Stewart just having that you do not want to mess with that guy.
No, he's a big man. He punched Joey Logano in the face one day.
He's done way worse. You know one thing that Tony Stewart actually did?
What?
When he was doing like a dirt rally race type of thing with like a funny car, where like on the roof of the actual off-road car, the right side was a little bit higher up and the left side was a little bit lower down with the aerodynamics. And the thing was, he actually killed a man on the track.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah. Well, your mom ran out into the middle of the track, though. In fairness.
Yeah, and like it's that weird scenario to where you would think that you would slow down and try to maneuver, but when you're going at that sort of pace as well, and you just see someone there, your eyes is focused on that, and you're trying to maneuver around it. It's tough, but we're waffling. Last Antoine has dropped the hammer, and Shahid says it in the chat best. This is going to be a 5-lap sprint race on the set of wets, and some of them on the set of intermediates. So it's going to be very close to see who comes out on top at the end of this race.
Sam past Pigman, and Big Bambino trying to take advantage. I can't believe it. Sam cuts across. Unbelievable. Got loosey-goosey there. Oh, no way. Sorry to cut in front of you there, just came in. But yeah, Sam must have been feeling the red mist. He knew he was right behind Albon next, but he lost the rear, and he's after losing some good track position there, I have to say, to Pigman and Big Bambino.
Yeah, so unfortunate with that, a little bit of a collision between those three drivers. Sam Brooks is not getting on the power down on the exit of turn 1 there after he was battling up with Pigman Man. Big Bambino tried to close the gap there, but of course Sam Brooks tried to close the door and they both had a little bit of a collision. Luckily, no one got knocked out of this race, but still unfortunate to see with that sort of effort there.
Ferrari's around. Sorry, Nick's around in the back, yeah.
Curse
and then Owen
of
and
the
Alex.
Ferraris. The curse of the Ferraris.
Good thing it's not in real life this time round. A Quasar and Total Carney going side by side through poo on themselves. Good stuff. So the guys are starting to settle themselves out there a little bit more.
They're gonna poo on themselves.
They're gonna have a poo on.
They're gonna have a poo off. Oh, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, there you go. Take it out of context. I'm telling you there. Let me tell you this. Sam Brooks and Big Bambino are gonna have a poo on themselves.
It's all good banter.
But yeah, no, it's coming to the end of this race now. 18 laps out of 22 on the board here. Big Bambino right in the back of Sam Brooks. True Blanchimon. Is he going to line him up into the chicane? He definitely gets a fantastic run. The guy's using the ERS to block and defend. He goes around the outside into the braking zone and he makes the move stick. What a fantastic maneuver from Big Bambino into 6th position. And Sam tries to get a run on the exit there. Seems as if they're kind of squirrely on the exit. It's still not over yet, I suppose. Sam into the braking zone decides to think better of it and concede. But yeah, it's anyone's game still here this evening.
Yep, and that's what we were saying earlier, and with Shahid saying it best, a sprint car race at the end. It's going to be tough. Sam Brooks actually lost a lot of pace there up El Rouge, and Big Bambino with a massive amount of pace. He's going to try and battle out with Pigman Man. It's going to be a drag race all the way down the Camel Straight. Pigman Man on the outside, Big Bambino on the inside. They both swap now, and a little bit of contact now as Big Bambino gets pushed off the track there. A little bit of contact, not harmful in any sort of way, but Pigman Man really putting the elbows out on the track and keeping that 5th place position.
Just about keeping it. He's really struggling under power. You can see the rear end. We right on board of Big Bambino here. But yeah, Pigman Man getting some awful traction. Big Bambino down the inside. Is he going to keep it there? No, he's not. Oh, nearly contact. I tell you, that could have been an absolute disaster. Any more contact, you poo on and he would have been around, but he gets away with it. But yeah, Pigman Man definitely holding up Big Bambino here. Big Bambino needs to be patient.
Yeah, he needs to keep it patient. And yeah, I see that shit. You know, I saw that when you're saying that the off-road car is called a sprint car. Yeah, I appreciate it. But the thing was, it regardless, it is going to be a sprint race till the end. It is going to be a sprint race till the end. So you basically killed two birds with one stone. Patty Pat's in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Oi oi, from the main man. How you doing?
What's up, guys? How are things? Yeah, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. So Big Bambino right on the back of Pigman Man through the chicane now. This is one of the best battles here on the grid. We're keeping an eye on Kurt Boyle as well, though, with Basil second and third there, gonna heat up any moment now. But Big Bambino 3/10 behind Pigman Man, who gets loose through the first corner here. A bit of ERS as well, so the slipstream's gonna come into big advantage as they come over the top. They rise the crest of Radion here through the outside. He's already trying to make the move. Big Bambino up the inside. I'm telling you, he already had that move before the straight even started.
Yep, but you can see Pigman Man is not going to be losing that position without a fight. A big dive on the outside! Huge contact! Big Bambino now shot with a 3-second time penalty. That might go down to the stewards at the end of this because he got pushed off there from Pigman Man. The wheels locked there, and you can see Pigman Man looks like he has a little bit of damage as he is struggling around these corners. Is it a lost end plate? Yes, it is. He has lost his right end plate, and Pigman Man got too desperate in the dire moments, and he's going to fall down now as Kaiser is going to look on the inside into this corner.
I'm going to call that Big Bambino's incident, to be honest, because he pushed him. He was down the inside, had to maneuver, and then he just ran him out of road, ran him onto the curb, onto the entry. Where was the other car meant to go, Big Bambino? Get in contact with the comments.
Not from what I saw. Not from what I saw. Big Bambino was ahead of Pigman Man.
No.
And he actually broke a little bit later than Big Bambino to try and get that. But while Pigman was actually braking, he turned to the right into the front left of Big Bambino. So that's why they had that little bit of a collision there.
All right.
So Pigman Man was trying to follow the racing line where he couldn't. He had the car on the inside.
Right, because from my side of it, we were looking down towards the cars, and Big Bambino was ever so slightly coming back onto the racing line, even though Pigman Man was entitled to the braking zone down the outside. But anyway, as you say, one for the stewards. Basil is right on the back of Kurt Boyle here. Pigman and Clement going side by side. I don't know, Clement's into the pit lane. So Basil's right in the back of Boyle here. Oh no, Pigman's crashed, is he? Is he retired?
No, he's retired into the pit lane. He's retired into the pit lane.
Oh, that's a shame.
But now there's 2 laps left to go here, Lemony, and we got to start thinking about commentator's driver of the day. And I think there's only one person that truly deserves it here, and that's going to be Los Antoine's getting pole position with an extraordinary time, breaking the 1:42-second barrier, led the race from the start, and honestly, leading now by 5 seconds. Extraordinary.
It's definitely getting close out there for some guys, but Anton has run away from this one this evening. I have to say, he's really put his foot down on the Spa race in the wet. He hasn't put a foot wrong, and he's gonna come away with the race, bar a miracle for Kurt Boyle and Basil. But these guys are really going at it now. I'd say these conditions are more intermediates maybe than wets. These guys will be starting to be on the edge of a Artesian here as well. Lap 21 and 22 is the penultimate lap, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to have you along here on the YouTube. Do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and get in contact. It's what you want, it's what you need, and it's myself, Lemony Tang, and Just Gaming in the commentary booth.
As always, love to see the support of all the drivers around and all of the basically the loyal supporters from the start till the end. And you gotta love to see that.
Basil right into the back of Kurt Boyle there. Sorry to cut in front of you. Definitely messed his braking zone up there.
No worries, but it looks like he's still going to try and fight it out. He's right on the tail end. Is he going to shoot on the inside here into turn 1? He is going to! The final lap, but missed time to braking zone again, and it's an easy switchback for Cartboy back up to second. But you can see Basil is desperate. He wants to get that second place and get into the second step off that podium, but it doesn't look like anyone is going to be battling out Lance Antoine. 7.5 seconds now of a lead. Extraordinary from the man.
Fair play to Anton. We'll jump on board of him now as he comes across the last few corners. But we're staying on board of this major battle here. There's another good one here as well. Just going through a Rouge and Radion now up the top of the hill. It's Total Kearney, Alex and Owen. It's the last lap for these guys as well. They're swapping positions down the Kemmel Straight. It's do or die for some of these guys into the chicane. What are they going to do? It's a Mercedes up the inside, Aston Martin and Red Bull. But no, there is contact. Aston Martin around. Everyone else taking evasive manoeuvres. And they've settled themselves out with that one, I think, for the end of this race, unfortunately.
Yeah, so now Clement out of the points now. Carney and Alex will be getting themselves some points at the end of this. And Patty Pat just saying, that's what it's all about, lads. The community should support all the tiers, oi oi. As always, Patty Pat. Prospects wouldn't be anything without the drivers, the commentators, the stewards, everyone in staff practically. So you gotta love to see the support.
Yeah, thanks very much to every single person out there. It's great to be part of it. But Anton is coming down the last corner now into the chicane. He hasn't put a wheel wrong all race long, ladies and gentlemen, and he's going to reap the rewards now this evening in a wet and miserable Spa. He is the one who's on top of the podium this evening. He is your winner, ladies and gentlemen. Anton wins the Grand Prix. Basil and Cartboyle, I tell you, they were side by side in the chicane, and it looks as if Cartboyle's going to pip it at the line with Basil and Albo side by side coming out of here as well, with Big Bambino also close behind. Quasar is in third. Sam Brooks loosey goosey out of the last corner, but he brings it home in 7th. Spidey is in 8th, and then Total Kearney and Alex here in 9th and 10th. Oh, Total Kearney gets 9th. Fair play to him, and Alex gets 9th. Sorry, Kearney gets 8th and Alex gets 9th. Great stuff, and Spidey rounds out your top 10. Clement and Vintage still battling to the line as well. Fair play to them. Owen and then Nick is your last driver across the line, ladies and gentlemen. But don't take it away. Anton is your race winner. Just game it. It's been an amazing race for these guys.
It's been an absolute race. We were looking at a dry start potentially, but the rain just snuck in and really changed the whole spectrum of the drivers out there. Big Bambino getting the game's driver of the day. But I think right there, that man vlogging at the end of his race result, he is going to be my driver of the day. Started on top, ended on top. A pure dominant race and winning by 10 seconds. It couldn't be anyone else.
Yeah, fair play to him there. The champagne's flowing. The flags are flying of the countries these drivers represent. It's great to see everyone having the flags up there. But fair play to Anton winning this race this evening. They'll be happy that one's over. I tell you that for nothing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because usually a wet race at Spa can be absolute hell in some cases. But Lance Antoine was the one to take it by the horns and take it up top, getting the dub with his stance as well from qualifying to the end of the race. Extraordinary. But if you think that's going to be it for Prospects eRacing League, no, it is not. We'll be back here tomorrow night for Belgium for Tier 2, where I believe I'll be commentating with Feldman. It's going to be a very, very interesting race. And Patty Pat, as always, the word you're looking for was carnage. As that is, you should be one of those type of celebrities where you actually, copyright that word, because you've been using that every single time you stream, and I love it.
Yeah, the great stuff for everyone out there in the chat. Nice to see us having along. And do like and subscribe once again. But join us tomorrow for more Prospects eRacing League action. It's the best in the business. You won't find it anywhere else.
Honestly, absolutely. But it's a big thank you from us in the comments box. It's a big thank you from Prospects eRacing League. And we will see you tomorrow for Tier 2. Lemony is the lead. I'm Justin. We want to give you all a very, very good night. Lots of love and stay safe from me.
Lots of love, everybody.